Very good morning, students. Yesterday we have started our new chapter, that is refraction of light, and we have studied some introduction about the refraction, that is what is the definition of refraction, what is the reason behind the refraction, and some other concepts. Today we will continue the same chapter. The very first topic we'll start today is the laws of refraction. If you remember, in the class 9th you have studied the laws of reflection. Similarly, first we will talk about the laws of refraction. Okay, so let's start the first topic, that is laws of refraction. If you remember the ray diagram of refraction, this was the interface line, this was the normal, and this AO is incident ray and OB was the refracted ray. The angle between the normal and the incident ray is called angle of incidence, and this is angle of refraction, that is the angle between the normal and the refracted ray. There are two laws of refraction. What is first law? The first law, it says that the point of incidence, refraction, and the normal all lies at the same plane, or we can write it as the incident ray refracted ray and normal all lie at the same point on same plane, right? This is your first law of refraction. See, it's quite similar to the first law of reflection. In the reflection also, the reflected ray, the incident ray, and the normal all lie at the same point and on the same plane. Similarly, here just the difference is, in that case there is a reflected ray, in here we have the refracted ray, right? Otherwise these two laws are quite same. So that's the first law. What is second law? Second law, also known as Snell's law. What says? It says the ratio of the sine of the angle of incidence to the sine of the angle of refraction is a constant. That means if you take a medium, right? If you take a pair of medium, suppose you take the example of air and glass. Light is going from air to glass. Now let's suppose in the first case the light incident on the normal, let's say at 60 degree, and refracted at some degree. You find the ratio in this case. Now change the angle of incidence from 60 to, let's say, 45 degree. Find the angle of refraction and again find the ratio. You will find that the ratio of sine of I to the sine of R always remain constant. It will not change for a given pair of media. See, for a given pair of media, it's not like you are first case you taken the air and glass, in the second case you have taken the air and water. No, that will be changed. For a given pair of media, this ratio always remains constant. Now what is the value of constant here? Let's talk about this. This is angle I and angle R. This is a term known as refractive index. Let's say refractive index of medium 1, let this is medium 1 and this is medium 2. refractive index of medium 1 is equals to mu 1 and refractive index of medium 2 is called mu 2, right? Here light is going from medium 1 to medium 2. So we'll write this as 1 mu 2. Light is going from one medium to second medium. Now what is 1 mu 2? This is written as refractive index of medium 2 divided by refractive index of medium 1. And how we read this? We read it as refractive index of medium 2 with respect to refractive index of medium 1, or refractive index of medium 2 with respect to refractive index of medium 1. And actually this is the constant in the Snell's law. So how can we write the Snell's law now? Snell's law was sin I upon sin r equals to constant, and the value of constant is nothing but 1 mu 2 equals to 1 mu 2, or simply sin I upon sin r equals to mu 2 upon mu 1. So these both formulas are correct. You can write in any form, or either 1 mu 2 or mu 2 by mu 1. So that's the value of refractive index and the complete Snell's law. Some student got confused how to write 1 mu 2 or 2 mu 1. So let's quickly talk about this. Okay, let's see. Let's take two examples. This is medium 1 and let's say this is medium 2. Okay, the refractive index of medium 1 is mu 1 and that of medium 2 is mu 2. Light is going like this. Suppose this angle is I and this angle is R. So light is going from medium 1 to medium 2. How will write is 1, it is going from 1 to 2, and in the middle will have mu. So light is going in the medium 2. So how do you find the refractive index? We find the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to refractive index of medium 1. Okay, so this will be written as mu 2 upon mu 1. So how do we write the Snell's law? We'll write sin I upon sin r equals to 1 mu 2 or mu 2 over mu 1. Now suppose the light is going from medium 2 to medium 1. Now this is medium 2 and this is medium 1, right? The light is coming from the medium 2, let's say like this, right? Now because light is coming from medium 2, now this will be angle of incidence I and this will be angle of refraction R, right? The refractive index of medium 1 is mu 1 and that of 2 is mu 2. So from where light is coming? Light is going from medium 2 to medium 1. So how do we write this? We'll write this as 2 mu 1, right? You can see here light is going from medium 2 to medium 1. What will the value of 2 mu 1? That will be equals to mu 1 upon mu 2. Okay, so in this case sin I upon sin r will be equals to 2 mu 1 which is mu1 by mu2. Always remember one thing, that in the numerator we'll write the refractive index of the medium where the light is going, right? Here the light is going into the mu1, so it will come in the numerator, and in the denominator we'll write the refractive index of the medium from where the light is coming, right? It is medium 2. So that's how we write the Snell's law. I think you'll not confuse when you write the equation. Okay, these medium 1 and 2 can be anything, like it can be vacuum, it can be air, it can be glass, it can be water, or any other medium given in your problem. Okay, so let's move forward to the next topic. We have seen that when the light goes into the denser medium, the speed of light decreases. It means more the refractive index of the medium, less will be the speed of light in that medium. So from this result we can write this, that light, speed of light V is inversely proportional to the refractive index of the medium mu. Here mu is known as the absolute refractive index of medium. What is absolute refractive index of medium? Here mu is absolute refractive index of medium. Now what is the difference between the absolute refractive index and normal refractive index? See, whenever light coming through the vacuum and going into the medium, then the ratio of the refractive index of the medium to the refractive index of vacuum is always known as absolute refractive index. See how? Suppose this light is coming from vacuum and going into some medium, right? It can be anything, water, glass, anything. So I'm just writing the medium, medium 2. This is the refractive index of vacuum mu1 and refractive index of medium mu2, right? So it's going from medium 1 to medium 2. How do we write this? We'll write 1 to 2, that is 1 mu 2 or mu 2 upon mu 1. Always remember the refractive index of the vacuum or air. Always remember the refractive index of vacuum and air is always 1. So the value of mu1 will be 1. Okay, so this expression can be written as now 1 mu 2 equals to mu 2 upon 1. Now can we write this mu 2 as only mu, because now we don't have two different mu's, we have only single mu, that is mu 2. If mu 2 is written as mu, okay, so this expression will become 1 mu 2 will be equals to mu. Now this mu will be known as absolute refractive index of the medium. Okay, for example, light is going from vacuum to glass. So the refractive index of vacuum is 1 and that of the glass is 1.5. Okay, so that will be that mu of the glass will be known as the absolute refractive index of medium. Conclusion: refractive index, absolute refractive index is the ratio of the refractive index of the medium to the refractive index of the vacuum. Let me write on the board. You can take the screenshot. So absolute refractive index of medium is the ratio of refractive index of medium with respect to refractive index of vacuum. All right, and that is denoted by mu. That is the mu. Now when I start this topic, I have written that the speed of light is inversely proportional to this absolute refractive index. Let's just continue that. So I've written that V is inversely proportional to mu. Higher the mu, lower will be the speed of light in that medium. Now these are proportional, not equals to. So we have to remove this proportionality sign, we have to apply a constant here. So when you apply the constant, that will be V equals to C upon mu. Now what is C here? C is the speed of light. Speed of light in vacuum, and speed of light in vacuum is always constant, which is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Alright, so this is a very important relation. V equals 3 upon mu. Okay, now always this relation also tells us one thing. What is it? Let's see. Again, you can take screenshot. The value of absolute refractive index is always equal or greater than 1. The value of mu is always equal or greater than 1. Okay, it means mu is always equal to or greater than 1. Now what does it mean? See, V was equals to T upon mu. Now if mu is always 1 or more than 1, hence V will be always less or equal to the value of C, right? So this gives us a very important result, that you know that the speed of light is maximum in vacuum and in air, right? It can't be, the speed of light can't be more than 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So this result is satisfying this statement, because V cannot be more than C. C is speed of light in vacuum. So sometime question comes in the exam, says that is it possible to have the value of mu less than 1? So it's not possible. Why? So if the value of mu is less than 1, it means the value of velocity in that medium will become more than the value of C, which is not possible. So this is very important result. So this result I have taken when the one medium is vacuum or air and other medium is any material medium. What if we take two material medium, like light is coming from the water to glass, right? Now then what will be the equation? Write this. Okay, so let's say this is medium 1 and mu1, and this is medium 2, mu2. Here the speed of light is v1, here the speed of light is v2. So how do we find the formula? v1 upon v2, or simply we know that v is inversely proportional to mu, hence v1 upon v2 is equals to mu2 upon mu1. So from this relation we can find the value of speed of light in a different medium. So please note down these formulas. These are very important formulas, and definitely 1 to 2 questions will come from this concept. Now this is the we can say effect on the speed of light. Now let's talk about the other effect. That was the first effect. Second effect is effect on frequency of light. Okay, always remember, when light changes its medium, then there is a one quantity which not change, and which is frequency. So while changing the medium, light do not change its frequency. Frequency remains constant. There is no effect on frequency of light while changing the medium. So if frequency in the first medium is f, it will remain same in the second medium, that is f again. It will not change from f1 to f2, it will remain same. We'll continue this topic tomorrow. Thank you so much, class.